guy's like a big deal. I was like, 800 goals is like a lot.
Folks, welcome.
Go Power Ranger. Sorry.
Oh, damn it, Owen.
Let's go, Devils!
I thought once we got below 5 seconds, maybe we'd be all right, but clearly not.
Bye, Mom.
Bye, Owen's mom.
Yeah, bye, Owen's grandmother.
You can't make fun of the Stoma people, Brendan.
Why not?
Sorry, Dean. I didn't mean to shit on you.
Score! I just tuned in.
View the first 2 minutes and then shut down your computer.
Hey, I heard that.
You guys are ridiculous.
Well, I guess let's jump into season 3 of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. And not only that, but it's also episode 100 of the Bread Loves Hockey podcast. Clap sound effect for me, Dean. We are so thrilled to have brought you 100 episodes. Well, we haven't brought this one to you yet, but we're working on it right now. 99 beautiful, sometimes strange, with weird glitches, and an audio only episode, and lots of fun stuff along the way. But we're so happy to be still recording and jumping into the official off season before the 2025-26 NHL season. We've got all the cups and things have been awarded, besides the beer league summer cup for Dean's club there. So yeah, we're fully in off-season mode, but it's just the beginning of a new season for us as far as our coverage.
Yeah, and this will probably, we talked about this before we started recording, it'll probably be the last news-heavy episode, and it's a very news-heavy episode, but then we get into the fun off-season shenanigans.
Yeah, which I'm pretty sure was the same last year. Everything was condensed into one, as far as I can remember. Because that's just how the league kind of operates, unfortunately. I mean, you get everything done right at the beginning, and then you usually, that's after like the first week or so after July 1st is when you kind of see the news fall off a lot.
Yeah, I mean, we're recording on the evening of July 1st, so, I mean, a lot happened today, so we're hoping we catch most of it, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. I mean, all the big names, I guess, have signed.
Most of them. There's still a couple of big names out there, as far as I'm aware, as of right now. But I think Ehlers will probably be one we won't hear about today, especially since he's probably the biggest fish on the market at this point, at least as far as UFAs go. I don't think there's really anybody contesting with him at this stage, based on the signings from today. Which we'll certainly jump into. But, I mean, we're actually, getting ahead of ourselves a little bit as far as the order of operations and the timeline, rather, of events, because before July 1st and today and all the craziness, we also had the draft, both round 1 and then 2 through 7. And so... yeah, we tried to record our reactions to the first round, at least, the first little bit, but we had some technical issues, so we weren't able to bring that to you. We apologize.
I'd say many technical issues.
We were really struggling. I mean, I wasn't prepared because I had Justin and his girlfriend Emily over, so we were like, okay, I already can't do it on my computer, which limits my ability to stream it because I couldn't be on Discord and have YouTube stream going. I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to figure all that out.
Yeah, and you're like, can you record it or stream it? I'm like, oh, that shouldn't be too hard. And you're like, yeah, it won't be. So I try to set up on OBS, and it's like, put the stream key in. And I'm like, it's way more complicated on YouTube than it is Twitch.
It is a little more in depth.
So I was like, link the account. I'm like, well, it's not my account. I'm linking your email. And it's not even the Brad Hockey email. It's your email to the Brad Hockey YouTube.
Which is weird.
Through OBS. And I'm like doing this, and the password's not working. And we're like, all right, well, I can just record it locally, and then we can post it. And then we're having an issue that I've never had before, where like the audio channels weren't separated. So it was recording our voices with the draft audio, and I'm like, well, that's not going to work because we'll either get copyright striked or you're not going to hear us.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whatever.
We scrapped it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I don't think we did anything that was too surprising. Anyways,
I mean, I was very excited for our draft pick, but
that was fun being there live to sort of follow what was going to happen with that pick. So yeah,
I was
sorry you
telling
guys
you,
missed it.
like, because yeah, Hagen's, well, before the draft, his projection was around like 6 or 7, and I was like, he didn't get taken 5th, and I'm like, oh, I know Philly's gonna take him. Like they had talked about taking him, and I was like, that's just the way it's gonna go for the Bruins, and
Yep.
then they didn't. So I'm like, we gotta take him, right? And even the broadcaster was like, they got to take him. Like you can't mess this up. And I'm like, they could easily mess this up.
It's
And
like,
then,
hold it.
luckily, they take him. They got Adam Sandler to announce it.
Which was
I
awesome.
know some other people liked McQueen, who the Ducks took it at 10,
Yep.
which means that now McQueen will be better than Higgins somehow. But
Find a way. Hey, Anaheim needs
I'm
something,
happy.
I
I think like I did not expect to get Higgins, even if we had finished like, I mean, because that was basically like the best center, right? Was he the first center taken?
think. Higgins?
Yeah.
No. Misa is a center.
Okay.
Martone is not a center, but all the other forwards. Frundell was a center. Denoyer was a center.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't remember who was 5th. I don't remember who was even picking at that spot.
But like even when we were
Nashville.
tanking, I'm like, oh, if we can get
Brady
like
Martin.
if we can get like 4th, which I think was the best possible if we had passed the Flyers and then didn't drop 2.
Yep.
I would have been like, oh, let's go for Higgins. I mean, we still got him at 7.
Yeah.
So I was happy.
Yeah, that is a good outcome for you guys. I was happy with it too. I'm like, if the
And Higgins
Islanders,
was happy to be back in Boston.
Oh,
he was
yeah.
there for college.
yeah, I think if he wasn't gonna happen where like the Islanders were rumored to try to be trading up to make the Schaefer and Higgins dream come true, and they obviously canvassed Boston before they selected Higgins, but yeah, Boston was like, sorry, no, like you can try, but you're not going to offer us a package that's better than the opportunity that we have at 7 to draft Higgins. So, yeah, it would have been fun for the Islanders if they were able to pull that off. I think they're still very happy with how they performed in that draft, and we'll kind of touch on some of their later picks because they got those 2. Montreal. Actually, we haven't even talked about that yet, but they didn't have other picks, but
I don't even
they acquired them.
know a single other player that got drafted by the Bruins. Normally, I look through all of them because we don't have a first round pick. But I was like, oh, yeah, Higgins, nice, and didn't even look further.
Yeah, I mean, I did not have a pick for Vegas in the first round, so I was not expecting much from them. But I was like, all right, I'll at least see who their second overall selection or their second round pick was, and I did follow a couple of their other ones, which we'll get to. I guess
We had the 100th pick, someone from Vail, Colorado. Vashek Blanar.
Blanar. Oh, that's kind of fun.
Maybe it's just Blainer.
I think the Bruins also traded the 69th overall pick to like Tampa or something, I want to say. I was like, oh, look at that. They had it. Oh, they lost it. I think, I want to say like the Lightning moved up 1 spot or something like that.
We drafted a Kirill in the 6th round.
Oh.
We got a lot of. I think we drafted 4 centers.
I mean, it's absolutely an
left wing
area of need, and if you can hit
2
on one, like,
defensemen.
that's great.
That's true. I mean, because our second pick was 51st overall, which I think was still earlier than your first pick, right? Weren't you 54th?
We were initially 58th, and then we traded up to 55th to grab Jacob Izwozniak, which he was born in Melbourne, which was kind of cool. And then he moved to Sweden, I believe, and played over there for a good bit. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about him. I think he was a player that the analysts were kind of surprised was still on the board at that stage. And the offensive ability you see, you're like, okay, Like I'm glad that they recognized that they could get a potential really good, player that maybe could have been projected at, the later end of the first round or early second round. It's like, okay, I like
Well,
that.
when the Bruins drafted Liesel, it was the same thing. Like, oh, he dropped further than we thought, and I mean, he hasn't panned out yet, but
Oh,
who knows? I don't know why this guy dropped, but Liesel, it was more of like a kind of not really locker room, but just like personality more than anything.
okay. Yeah, I haven't seen any red flags from the couple interviews that I've listened to for Yves Wozniak, but again, we got plenty of time to figure all that out.
Yeah.
Let me just see who else we grabbed.
Will Moore, who was our second round pick, is also going to be playing at Boston College.
I did see that. I was like, oh, that's good. I mean,
His
they're
hometown
always
is,
looking at Boston.
Ithaca, New York.
Oh, Ithaca. Okay. Yeah. Surprised you didn't go to Cornell. Maybe get away from home, or not able to get into Cornell. I don't know. If he's a good enough hockey player, it's like they'll take you, whatever.
Yeah.
They got a good program. I was just looking at the other draft selections for Vegas. So we had 4 selections that we ended up going with. I mentioned Yves Wozniak. In the 3rd round, 85th overall, Matteo Nobert, forward from Quebec. He was playing in the QMJHL and had 67 points last season, 4th on his team. And gold medal with it, and that's not really impressive. And then we had a 6th round selection, Alexander Weirmeyer. Sorry, I don't know if that's right. He's from California. Oh, fun. And we had Gustav Sokvist, defenseman out of Sweden. We probably could have guessed Sweden.
That was another fun story. I forget, it was like the 7th round, when the second to last guy drafted was a California local, and he was there.
Oh yeah.
And got drafted, and he was just like in like a hoodie and like sweatpants or whatever. So it was like a funny contrast, but that was cool to see him actually get to go up there and get his jersey.
What's
and all
his name?
that.
Park, I think it was, something like that. It's like I think AP is in my head. I don't remember what it is. Aiden. I think Aiden Park. That's my official guess.
Maybe.
But
It'll be the text edit when Brendan's wrong.
Hopefully not. Yeah, that was fun. He was there to support his friend or teammate who did end up getting. He was like, I think he was one of the late first rounders. Riker Lee, I think it was. And so he was draft eligible last year, and so he was kind of not really at that stage. Obviously, second to last pick, he was kind of thinking, better luck next year. But so he was just there to support. But that's fun for him, and we'll see if the Edmonton Oilers get a steal, a really big steal.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Like 7th rounders just don't. And even just like, 5th, 6th, 7th rounders in the past, 10, 15, 20 years don't amount to as much, as they had in the past. Just scouting is really good. And even though there are only like, 200 plus players that get drafted, these are still supposed to be the best of the best. And you get more scouting in some, less populated areas, some other Eastern European leagues or whatever that are just not as well known. Now, we have so many resources, so many scouts and opportunities. I think everybody's watching you pretty much. That's how it feels like. More nationalities were represented this year than in the last like 20 years. I want to say it was like 17 nations were represented this year. Highest born Chinese player at, I think it was 30 something, 34th overall. So the second overall in the second round. That's Wang. I don't remember his first name. but he's 6'6", so yeah, that makes some sense. And then Slovenia, I think, had another high round pick. So it's just fun to see these other selections or other nations being represented that aren't typically as strong hockey wise.
Yeah. I'm trying to find. I'm just going on NHL Draft Tracker and going year by year and looking at seventh rounders and trying
Just
to
like
see
if a name
recognize
pops
anyone.
out at you, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't know a better way to find this, but in 2020, some guy named Gunnar Wolf Fountain was drafted by Nashville. That's a cool name.
That's a hockey name right there.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll find goalies are more likely, I would say, at that stage to become something in the NHL, just because there's so many less of them that get drafted, and it's such an important position.
Like Dustin Wolf.
Yep, Wolf. I was gonna say I didn't know how far back he was, but
He was 214th overall.
that's definitely 7th round.
Yep, 2019.
Yeah, that's good.
I forget what year I started because I figured 2024 wouldn't have any yet. So I think I started maybe 2023.
Probably not.
But that's the first name I've recognized. So not many.
No, not too many.
Trey Fix Wolanski.
I've heard of him. Winnipeg Jet.
Have you?
I think so.
He was drafted by Columbus. I don't know where he is now.
Oh, Columbus. Maybe I'm thinking of another player that maybe Johnson Fialbi.
There's just so many
the one,
names in
like
here.
the
That's
hyphenated
not a
one.
hockey player. There's a Hosea Slavin.
I thought he did have a brother that was a prospect, a younger brother. I don't know if it's him though.
Back to 2017. But even like Dylan Ferguson, I'm like, I don't know, because he's a goalie.
Yeah, Golden Knight played a cup of coffee in the league.
Was he the fourth string?
He was the fifth string, really.
Okay, so he made it to the NHL by a series of 4 other goalies getting injured.
Well, and then he made his NHL debut with the Senators, and he had like a 50 save game or something like that, and it was like his first career win. It was pretty crazy, but yeah, still
I won't
like
spend
he's played
too
like
much
3
time
games.
doing this because we have plenty other things to cover today.
Yeah, but that will be something that would be fun to dig into in the future. See kind of what teams are looking for in those late rounds, and yeah, what it takes, the journey for a 7th rounder too, because it's always going to be different than one of the first round or second round selections.
Otto Sampi.
Is that
Nikolai Craig Christensen.
These are
David Quenneville. Do you think he's related?
He probably got drafted because somebody thought he was related.
Maybe.
I think they'd probably do a little more research than that, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
So do you want to do? It'd probably be hard to do the drafts and the signings chronologically. Do you want to just do one and then the other?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
I mean the trades. Did I say drafts?
Oh, okay. I gotcha. I didn't know if
Trades
you
and
had
signings.
anything else you really wanted, like just kind of highlighting some of the other selections for at least the first round of the draft, I would say. I'll quickly recap, the notables. So Schaefer
McQueen
does
did not go to the Lightning.
He didn't go to the Lightning, but he is embracing the McQueen name with Anaheim. Obviously, the whole Mighty Ducks connection and Disney. They had Josh Jacobs and Marguerite something or other from the Mighty Ducks movies announcing their pick. So big Disney connection. They immediately took him on a helicopter to fly him to Disneyland, and he got his picture with Lightning McQueen, and his number was 95. So he, Rogers definitely leaning into it, which is fun. And then there were a lot of comparisons to Ruddy Murtka being selected by Buffalo 1 pick prior, and he just looked incredibly depressed. But I think it's just that's some players are not as expressive. I think especially European-born players are probably a little less keen on smiling for the entirety of all this coverage, and you've probably never been in the U.S. before, or not to this capacity, so I wouldn't read into it too much. But people are always keen to dunk on the Sabres.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just realizing that this is not the draft selection. This is just the rankings. So
Are you on Wikipedia?
I wasn't on Wikipedia. I was just on the NHL.
Wikipedia does that, and you have to scroll down. They do the rankings first, and then the actual picks.
That's annoying. Okay, first round results from the NHL. There we go. So I don't think I made a mistake with what I said, but I was just going off of the wrong numbers then. So Schaefer first overall, Misa second, so he's the first center to go. I was hoping San Jose wouldn't grab him because he looks really good. But Frundell was probably good too. So the Blackhawks take him. Then Dunoyer goes to Utah, Brady Martin to Nashville, and then Porter Mortone for Philly. So then so he's the first winger off the board, and then we still get another center with Jake O'Brien going to Seattle, and everybody was expecting Murtka to go there. So that was a little bit of a surprise. Seems like they always draft centers and in the early rounds, and yet their defense is always terrible. So that's a criticism of the Kraken, I guess, that I've heard. So Murtka is the second defenseman. Obviously Schaefer going first overall, and then Kindell goes to Penguins. I actually didn't really know much about him. Nesbitt to the Flyers. Carter Bear, Jackson Smith, Braden Coots, good old hockey name there. And then, the Islanders acquire both of Montreal's picks that were back-to-back 16 and 17 in the Noah Dobson trade, when they grabbed Victor Eklund, brother of William, and Keishon Aitchison. So those look like pretty good picks. I recognize a couple of the other names, but the other notables I thought were Columbus grabbing the first goalie off the board in the first round, which I don't know if goalies were projected to go in the first this year. Pyotr Andriyanov going, and then there was another goalie, Joshua Ravensbergen, going to San Jose at 30th overall. So it was 26th overall. That was Riker Lee, the friend there of the second to last pick. And the only other one, which I thought was very interesting, was Chicago traded up to grab this center Mason West out of an Indiana high school, and he's actually a dual sport athlete who also is he's going to be playing quarterback next year. So he's definitely a big guy, but I just thought that was very interesting, trading up to grab a high school quarterback / hockey player.
Yeah, especially one that said they want to return to high school to play football in their senior year and then focus on hockey. So it's like, because what happens if he plays this year and either plays really well and he might not get offers at quarterback, but he can get offers on a different offensive position, and that's gonna be a lot more money than hockey probably. So
yeah, it's
definitely a risk, but if you're a team like Chicago, you're like, maybe we'll just do it anyway. But the interesting part is them moving up, so maybe they heard something that another team was interested.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seemed
like in the first round, the kind of player like that is definitely high risk, high reward, maybe.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like, I don't know enough about the player as far as his game to know if he has the potential ceiling to make that that selection seem really, really good. I feel like he would probably have been available in the second round, but again, I'm not an NHL executive, and have no insider info other than it just doesn't seem like the best selection as of right now. But that's pretty much the highlights for the first round. There were other notable names that were projected to go in the first that ended up dropping into the second. But I really didn't dig into it as much. I watched some coverage of day 2, but not a ton, and like kind of intermittently. I'm like, yeah, I really don't know anything that's going on, so I'm just trying to listen and trying to hope that there are some trades that are interesting. So I did see Vegas trade up to grab Yves Wozniak, and there were a couple of other trade. I think there was one trade for players that was announced. I want to say it was the Connor Timmins trade with Buffalo there. That was the only player trade I think I caught while I was watching. I think we should also mention how the presentation was for the first round, because there were lots of complaints about how the draft went, and Bettman was definitely on the record prior to the event saying he fought against this, but most of the owners ended up wanting it, so they said we'll try it this year, the decentralized draft. And I think 6 teams then voted to go against doing that going forward after the draft.
It came out that Vegas was one of the teams, but I don't know. Do you know if any of the other teams were said which ones had voted against it?
Vegas was the only one that I had heard either, which I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
I heard something about the Kings being against it now, maybe, but I don't know if that meant they voted originally.
Oh.
But a lot of teams are probably against it now.
Yeah. So ultimately, it wasn't a great format. They did have most of the first round selections be announced by celebrities, which was kind of fun. Hometown celebrities or just somebody connected with the city or the state, I guess.
You could probably keep that decentralized. You can have, because it's hard to get 32 celebrities or whatever to show up in one place. But if they can call in, you can probably get better celebrities to agree to that. But yeah, definitely the teams. The exciting part is having the 32 teams with their tables and all the just murmuring and watching them do their jobs kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then obviously you avoid the technical difficulties and the memes that have come out of the Hagen's pick where he walks up to the screen and it wasn't frozen. You could see them moving, the Bruins managers, and it was just silent. They went to them, and then Hagen's thanks for drafting me, and then it's just no response.
Yeah, it was a tough look for sure. The whole interrogation room thing, it was so strange. And you had,
and then when the Goo Goo Dolls went in with them,
the Goo Goo Dolls following, who, and it was a European player that I don't think didn't know who it was. I'm trying to remember what pick that was.
It was 8 or 9.
Yeah, I guess it would have been. It might have been Merck. Yeah, Merca, because I think the Goo Goo Dolls are from Buffalo. Yeah. So. Yeah, that one was interesting. That they're okay, I guess we're gonna go in here too. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it just took forever. I mean, it took an hour to do 4 picks, so it was 4.5 hours, I think, in total. It started. It was advertised to be starting at 7. And yeah, I think it wrapped up around 11:30, something like that. I didn't watch the whole thing. I did cut out at around pick, what was it, 11, I think is where we stopped, and then I hopped back in towards the end just to see if Vegas was gonna do anything. So I did catch the end of it. I think it was around 11:30 or so. So yeah, it should be more 3 hours,
if that. But I also get you want to give everyone their moment. The Schaefer getting drafted was a great moment.
Yeah.
With the breast cancer awareness crest on his jersey and like all that like was really touching. And
Oh yeah.
like it's nice to see that. And again, like it only happens once where you get drafted into the NHL, so like make a moment of it. I don't want to rush these guys onto the stage and off the stage, but like
No.
I don't know how you can do both. No commercials, maybe. I don't know.
Hey, that sounds good. Yeah, I don't know. I just know that what they did this year didn't work. Everybody was a big fan of the Sphere draft last go around, but I think there is no way that the NHL will be able to afford to go there every year. Like they already, Bettman had said at the time that they already went over their allotted budget just to book the Sphere for.
I mean, they have a bigger budget now. They're making way more money.
Yeah, well, they don't. They can't spend any money if they want to make it. I guess. It seems to be how the NHL operates in every other big business. Like, oh well, we can't keep spending money. But yeah, I don't know. It would be fun to see them go back there, but it'd also be just fun for other NHL cities to host. I think it is fun to see where it's gonna go, and I feel strongly that they will go back to the traditional format and maybe make some tweaks to
obvious.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh well, I mean, you gave it a shot. Happy for the players and family and friends that were live in Los Angeles to take it all in, but it wasn't a great experience for the viewer on TV.
Yeah.
Second rounds and beyond was fine. Like it's gonna be a lot quicker, so it's mostly just analysts trying to fill time and find their notes on some of these prospects, especially when you get into the deeper rounds. Like it was fun listening to some of the analysts at like the 6th and 7th round. Just like, I mean, I don't know what you want me to tell you guys. Like I'm still trying to find and see if this is even the right Ben Johnson, in my little program here, because I've got like 70 of them, or I'm exaggerating, of course, but it was fun to hear that kind of thing, but it's not captivating television. I don't remember how long rounds 2 through 7 took. I think it was slightly longer than the first round, but probably not by that much.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever watched that day of the draft.
Yeah, it's not something that the average fan would need to care about.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's it. And it is Aiden Park. So I'm glad I got that right. With Green Bay of the United States Hockey League. There we go.
Guess we don't need a text edit then.
Maybe one that says Dean.
No.
Oh, okay.
He'll just say, keep listening to find out.
Yeah. Hold on. We'll get to it. We also had a jersey reveal. Well, a couple of them. I mean, we got to see James Hagens in the new Bruins jersey, and the Blues players as well. Justin Carbonneau rocking the new Blues jersey. But we also had the Chicago Blackhawks, who just recently revealed their 100th anniversary jersey, which is very similar to their current look. Obviously, they're not gonna tweak it too much, but they did put like a gold outline around the crest, and they have a 100th anniversary patch on the shoulder. I think a couple other minor notes for like the collar and things, but yeah, at a quick glance it looks exactly the same.
It's clean.
It's fine. Yeah, like I don't think it does a whole lot for me, to differentiate itself. It's very similar to how they phoned in the logo, I think. Like, I'm not expecting a whole lot from them. So I think, like, Detroit will be more interesting to see what they do with theirs.
Or not.
They definitely are not very adventurous either. Looking at their jersey history and their logo history, it's like, so the winged wheel got slightly altered. Okay.
Yeah.
But you never know what they're gonna try this go around, and I don't know if I've heard anything about the Rangers sporting new jerseys this year. So we'll keep you in touch on that. I think we have made it through the draft coverage. Unless you have anything else that you wanted to highlight, but I think that's about all I got.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think we can cover the trades next and then go into the signings. Unless a trade is a sign and trade, and then we can cover that at the same time.
Glad we got that clarified before we started, Dean. Thanks for
Trades and sign and trades, and then signings.
Not to be confused with sign and trades.
Yes.
Love it.
When we left off last week, we were... I guess we covered like the JJ Peterka was the last big one. And then the day after we recorded, Noah Dobson got traded to the Islanders for Emil Heineman and 2 firsts. Or sorry, I had that backwards. Noah Dobson to Montreal.
Yes.
Emil Heineman and the 2 firsts this year to the Islanders. Zane seems pretty happy with how everything turned out with the draft and the trades and the players they got. I know Noah Dobson's a good young defender, but I think the return for to the Islanders is a good return, and the Habs are probably happy with the 2.
Yeah, and then they signed him to an extension too, didn't they? 8 by 9.5.
Yep.
So that one was a sign and trade. So, yeah, I think that's probably just a number that was a bit too high for the Islanders, and they knew that they had Schaefer coming, so maybe they can afford to not spend as much on re-signing Dobson, and they could get him in other assets, bring other defensemen in. We saw a couple other defensemen get signed since then, and then I think Heineman is pretty good. Got some sneaky potential upside there, so I think this works for both teams. Like, Dobson will definitely be really solid for Montreal. I think he's from the area too, so they always love to bring their boys home. And I think I liked both of the selections that the Islanders acquired, that they took with the picks that they acquired, Aitchison and Eklund. I think those were both great selections. So, yeah, I think this worked out for everybody, at least as of today.
Sure. We're not ready to talk about who won the offseason yet.
No, we're never really ready. It's like, it's only been 5 years. You're already talking about who won that. It's like, yeah, well, yeah. gotta talk about it eventually.
Mm-hmm. And then another big trade hours later with the Avs sending Charlie Coyle and Miles Wood to Columbus for Gavin Brindley, a 2025 third, and a conditional 2027 second. This is where I make the joke that Don Sweeney fleeced the Avs, Charlie Coyle, and they're like, took him for the playoffs. Like, oh, maybe he's not that good.
Ship him out, but they got. I mean, yeah, they
got a good return.
Like,
I think Avs fans were happy.
Yeah, I
don't know what the condition is.
If
I hit about trade, it'll probably tell me.
I didn't even see the conditions.
Maybe you can find it before me.
Where are you looking? Because I'm on Cap Wages.
TSN.
Oh, TSN. Okay. I don't know why. Yeah, sometimes Cap Wages doesn't have as much info as you'd like.
Yeah, I don't see it on TSN.
They don't have it on the details here either.
Oh well.
Well, I think either way, it might have been a bit of an overpay for what Wood and Coyle are bringing, like, offensively, and
yeah, I mean,
maybe
Wood
they're
was
giving
hurt
up on
a
Brindley.
lot of last year, but he's a solid 4th liner. Can be used on the 3rd line, the pinch.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good. I'm glad that Coyle is playing for the Blue Jackets, and I think I'll probably like Wood too. We'll see if Brindley ends up blossoming in Colorado, because he was a highly touted prospect for a little bit. So maybe they're giving up on him a little bit early. Who knows? Maybe it wasn't a good fit there.
And Coyle was also a 60-point player, but that was the year that everyone on the Bruins had career highs.
Yeah, just like that year where all the Buffalo players were scoring, and then next year comes and they're like severely out of the playoffs. So it's you can definitely ride a really strong season into some inflated point totals. So that's something you got to be wary of if you're a general manager.
Mm-hmm.
Then we just had
then-
a bunch of draft picks swaps. I'm like scrolling through. I'm like, oh yeah, these are all on the draft day. And
Yeah. Well, the 28th was the draft day.
28th was the second through 7th rounds.
Yeah, because that's when you were saying the Connor Timmins trade.
Yeah.
And I guess the Jordan Spence one was also during that, because they're 1 minute apart on here.
Yeah, I think we had heard about that during that time too.
So
Oh yeah, and the next one.
Connor Clifton gets sent to Pittsburgh with a 2nd-round pick in the 2025 draft, and Buffalo gets Connor Timmins and Isaac Beliveau. And then Jordan Spence.
Second seems like a lot for Buffalo to be giving up for Timmins and Beliveau. I don't know a lot about Beliveau, to be fair.
Maybe they
but
wanted to just get rid of Clifton.
I guess that seems like a tough pay, but I think Penguins will take it. And then I don't really know much about Spence.
Me either.
I'll just a couple.
I mean, we don't need to go in depth on everyone because
No.
that'll be a 5-hour podcast.
Yeah, but this one was a surprise for me. I did see this one live while watching the draft. John Gibson heading to Detroit. He's finally traded, and in exchange, Anaheim receives Peter Mrazek, who kind of resurrected his career a little bit at the end of the season with Detroit. He played a couple of games with them, and we actually saw him play live and shut out the Golden Knights, I believe. So
Sure did.
that was too bad. And they also get a
That was great.
2027 second rounder and a 2026 fourth. So yeah, suddenly Anaheim is like, you know what? We traded Zegras. He's been in the trade rumors for so many years. You know who's been in trade rumors even longer? John Gibson. And he's like finally free of Anaheim after being the longest tenured player by a good bit.
Maybe they're trying to boost that locker room morale. It's like, if you don't want to be here, then we'll get rid of you.
Yeah, so he gets a fresh start. This is his second ever team in Detroit. How much of an upgrade in goal it'll actually be will be a big discussing point, as we head into the offseason, because he is getting up there. His numbers haven't been great the last 3 or so seasons, but it's also Anaheim. It's like, yeah, the defense in front of him was always terrible. So that will be a big one to look to as far as new goalies with the team and how they're actually going to perform.
Mm-hmm. We can probably skip over this Chase Prisky trade.
Declan Chisholm, yeah, I've heard
No
of him.
offense to you guys and your 4th and 5th round picks.
Yeah.
We have a Vegas trade.
Whoa.
Give us your thoughts on that.
Okay, so yeah, this didn't really surprise me, at least as far as who we were sending out. Nick Hague and a 2027 third-round pick going to Nashville, and we received Jeremy Lauzon and Colton Sissons. I
don't see the draft pick
surprised
on
by-
TSN. That's weird.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
See, this is why it's probably good that we have two different sources.
I guess, yeah.
Because I didn't know about that conditional third-round pick or whatever and that other trade we were talking about.
Yeah, but when you click on the about, like the details, and it has the Pierre LeBrun thing saying if Vegas wins 2 playoff rounds, the 3rd-round pick becomes a second.
Yeah,
So,
that is true. I saw that condition and I was like, oh, so we're like rewarding our, because at first I thought that we were getting the pick from Nashville. I was like, ooh, this is great. And then I was like, oh, it becomes a second if we make the Western Conference Finals. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes more sense that Nashville is getting the pick from us. Which,
Yeah.
it's too bad, but they knew that we kind of needed to shed a little bit of salary, and with the rumors circling about somebody we'll discuss in a moment here coming into Vegas, but I think Haig didn't really produce offensively this year. He's been our third pair defenseman with White Cloud, which has been a steady pair for the most part when both of those guys are healthy. But I think it was probably okay to let him go, and he does end up signing an extension with Nashville as well. I want to say a 4 by 5.5. Yeah. So I wouldn't have paid him that. I would not have been happy if Vegas had traded or had signed him to that deal. I think he's a solid defenseman, but he doesn't provide enough offensively, and he just didn't have a stellar year, in my opinion. How do you feel about Lauzon as a former Boston Bruin?
He was fine. He hits a lot.
Yeah.
I think he led the league on Nashville at one point.
Oh, really? Yeah, he was in Seattle for a little bit, and then ended up getting waived and sent to Nashville. McCrimmon didn't have a ton of glowing things to say about him in his conference today.
Crazy. In 79 games with Nashville in the 23-24 season, he had 4 penalty minutes.
Hey, that's good.
And in 67 games the year before, he had none. I find that hard to believe. Oh, no, that's because I was reading the wrong column, because that's in the playoffs. I was like, there's no way.
What is that,
Keep
points?
getting the Lady Byng every year.
Yeah.
Yeah, 98 in that season. That sounds better.
Okay.
I need to find his hits. So imagine leading the league in hits and not getting any penalties.
Yeah, that would be a player everybody would be scrambling to sign. Are you kidding me? Just a clean striking force.
He averages, or last season in 28 games, that's all he played in the 24-25. 4.5 hits per game.
That's good. That's more than Haig. I know, because I was tracking Haig, and actually Haig missed a lot of time last year too. Come to think of it, he was one of the only players that I had 4 or 5 squares of my Sin Bingo card that weren't completed, and his for number of hits was one of them.
Yeah, he led the league in hits during the 23-24 season with 383. Garnet Hathaway was second with 326.
Wow.
There you go. He hits a lot of people.
Okay, and I think we're getting similar things from Sissons. I mean, Sissons is just a hard worker. He's a little bit older, but he'll be playing 4th line center probably. He doesn't have a ton offensively, but he's actually a very good face-off man. So I like that. I think that's fine. That's what I got on that one.
All right. And then I texted about this. Well, someone else posted it, the Tarasenko to the Wild for future considerations.
Just a pure cap dump.
Yeah, and I messaged the chat. I was like, when he came in the league, I thought he was going to be a superstar. It's crazy. He had injuries and surgeries and stuff, which obviously affected his play. But I was like, how far he's come to get traded for nothing.
And he's a
He was
two-time
on the
Stanley
cover of
Cup
NHL
champion.
17.
Yes,
I
true.
pulled him in my opening pack. He was a 91 overall. People saw him on my team, immediately quit.
Yeah, wow. I mean, he has definitely lost some stock as far as his offensive ability, but he's still a good playmaker. He's just not gonna wow you at this stage. So, yeah, it's a good pickup for nothing for Minnesota, who can afford to take on his cap and see what he can do.
They're we have all this cap space now.
This is crazy.
The cap went up and our dead cap is gone.
Virtually gone. Yeah, that is gotta be such a relieving feeling for Bill Guerin. Finally, this decision that I made seems so long ago now to buy out Parise and Suter. It's like, okay, finally we're reaping the major benefits here. So yeah, this will be a fun offseason for them. We had Matias Maccelli traded to Toronto from Utah for a 2027 third round pick. There's a condition on that one as well.
It says 2025.
The pick upgrades to a 2029 second round pick if Maccelli scores 51 or more points in 2025-26
wrong
and qualifies
on
to
a
the
lot of this
playoffs.
stuff.
Yeah, I did see that condition. I remember seeing that, which is very interesting. 51 or more points, and Toronto makes the playoffs. Like, that might not get upgraded, but a 2029, it would take a little bit for Utah to reap the rewards for that one. He's a smaller player, but he's decent.
And I know it's wrong because if you it wouldn't make sense to have a conditional 2025 pick. It's
Yeah.
like, what's the condition gonna be? If by
We don't
tomorrow
trade
this
it.
happens.
Yeah. It's like there's not going to be any player stats tied to this one. There's no games being played. Interesting. So I guess according to this, we have the Marner trade up next, which was rumored for a long time, but it does officially get done yesterday. It's a 1-for-1. The rights to sign Mitch Marner, well, actually not the rights. They sign him to an 8-year extension, 8x12 in Toronto, and then he's traded to Vegas for Nick Waugh, which, yeah, I think Nick Waugh is still a good player, but McCrimmon talked about it a bit today, how he was kind of a luxury for us at 4C, and I think he could be a 3C on a lot of other teams. And so they're kind of replacing a little bit of the scoring upside that you have from Waugh to a little more of the face-off specialist and physical forechecking in Sissons, I guess, would be the replacement. So I'm not too sad about that. And then obviously we got Mitch Marner.
You're upgrading your top 6 and downgrading your bottom 6. You're min-maxing your forward group.
Yeah, and not to the extent where I'm concerned about the lack of depth, at least yet. Because it's the biggest discussion point for who wins the Stanley Cup is you need to have depth everywhere. So I don't feel like we're sacrificing absolute ton. It'll just be a matter of who's gonna be not passing, because Eichel, Marner, Stone, a lot of these guys are passers. Not all of them. Obviously they're going to shoot too, but it is still, you're grabbing a tremendous playmaker, elite talent. We've never had a 100-point player before. We'll see if he eclipses the 100-point mark this year. Eichel got very close this past season, and we looked at it. I think he might have projected out to get 100 points if he hadn't missed a little bit of time last season. But yeah, it's just you don't get the opportunity to acquire a player of his caliber very often. So I'm happy with it so far.
I mean, unless you're Vegas and you get the opportunity every year.
Hey, they make that opportunity happen for themselves, and they trade good players in order to do so. They also fought for the right to get that eighth year. I think that's probably something Marner would have wanted to, but it allowed them, by trading for him prior to July 1st rather than just signing him, no other teams were really able to talk to him because he wasn't a free agent yet, and they had ongoing trade talks since the deadline. There was a potential 3-way trade with Rantanen going to Toronto and Marner going to Vegas, but they couldn't figure out what Vegas would give to Carolina, so that didn't really end up materializing, obviously.
I thought Marner didn't want to go to Carolina either.
I think that was like a separate thing, a separate deal. Yeah, they were looking at
Well, you're saying there was a
that
different
way.
deal recently for Carolina and Vegas?
I think
during
so.
the season. Oh, because during the season, there was...
season, yeah, it was like around the trade deadline. They were like, trying to make something materialize there.
Yeah, and Vegas was part of that.
Yes.
Okay.
So that didn't end up happening. There was a lot of chatter recently about tampering, which I don't expect there to be any formal complaint of tampering, especially now that the trade did get done, which was a rumor out there about, the Leafs would potentially accuse the Vegas Golden Knights of tampering if they didn't get the trade done. I don't know if there's really any legitimacy to that claim, but I do think teams and the NHL are trying to crack down on it. So there were probably some deals today that were done in principle prior to noon that weren't announced quite right at noon, just so they could at least give the appearance that they hadn't had things done for, however many days.
Yeah, like you said, the league is cracking down on it. So if there is a more obvious one, they're probably going to try to make an example of a team just so everyone knows that, like, they're actually serious about this.
Yeah, and so
regulating it.
Everybody was hoping that Vegas would be the team that the NHL made the example of and, not allow them to sign Mitch Marner or forfeit a pick or fine of like $5 million, something like that. All rumored, nothing concrete right now. So that's what we have. Like, obviously, I'm gonna defend my team. I don't expect that they did anything that other teams haven't been doing, and there were previous trade discussions there, so that's different than trying to speak with a pending UFA. Because they were just trying to trade for him rather than sign him, but there were extensions and all that. So I see where other fans are coming from, but it didn't end up happening. So that's it. Yeah, I'm again just excited to have Mitch here. He just got in Vegas. He is wearing number 93, which is his old London Knights number. And I saw a whole, once a night, always a night, which is, it's kind of fun, I guess. But he'll be the first player to wear number 93 for Vegas. And again, just looking forward to having him here and hopefully performing a lot better in the playoffs than he's ever done. Especially in games 5 through 7. Those were his Achilles heel.
Well, depending if Vegas makes it to the finals again, depending who they're playing, I might have to root for them just because it would be so funny for Marner to win the cup as not a Leaf.
That would be funny, Dean. You're absolutely right. That would be really, really good. Yeah. Well, we'll see how it
Or if they're
out.
playing Toronto in the finals. Ooh.
Oh, that would be... I mean, the NHL would absolutely love that. Like, Toronto finally being in the finals for the longest... Like, they've never won 4 rounds. Like, they've never done that in their history.
Mitch Marner, Conn Smythe, winner.
Dude, yeah, he just lights it up for like 40 points and like I don't know, freaking 17 game. Not 17. You can't play that few. Well, I guess you could. It would be an absolutely insane run.
4-4-4-5.
40 points in 17 games would be nuts in the playoffs.
Well, if you're sweeping every team, basically.
Yeah, you're just racking up points every single night. It's like, oh, another 5-1 win for Vegas. No, I wouldn't expect anything. I think 16-6 is the fewest games played for a Stanley Cup winner, and the most is like 16-12. I think something like that. So, yeah, it's kind of fun to think about, but. No one's ever gone the distance, played the most games possible, or played the least. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but it'll be fun.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's what I got on Marner, and then we had a couple trades yesterday and today.
Yeah, we got the Boston trades next one on my list. Victor Arvidsson going to Boston for a 5th-round pick in 2027. I'm happy with this. Zach was happy with this.
Good.
I mean, he didn't play great in Edmonton, but like if you look back at his history, like he's had great seasons in the past.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'll probably mention this again with other signings, but like the Bruins are just looking for bodies at this point. Like after all the trading we did at the deadline, like we just need NHL players
Yeah.
to play with our young prospects. Unless we're trying to completely tank, which clearly we're not. Just we know what we're getting from these types of players. Like they've been in the league for a while. Like we know they can help the team. They're not going to be lighting it up or anything, but they can help the team. They can have an impact, and that's all we really need at this point. We're not probably in the playoff hunt, but we're not going to be the worst team in the Atlantic.
No, I think try to be competitive, try to develop your young guys, even though it seems like they signed a lot of people that would be taking up this roster spots for potential young stars, but
Give the young guys something to compete for.
true, and they did bring some guys back. But yeah, we'll get into more of that as we continue on. I did see also Caden Primo, goalie for Montreal, kind of their third option. He goes to Carolina for a 2026 seventh rounder. He's from Northeast, or he went to Northeastern, so I always kind of track him too. But yeah, with Dobesh kind of coming up last year, and still Montembeault, of course, kind of seemed like there wasn't really a major opportunity for him. So yeah, low risk with Carolina. They have also signed a couple other goalies lately. And then Montreal involved again, trading for Zach Bolduc 1-for-1 with prospect Logan Mailloux, who I believe he was the one who had some conduct issues, and like teams were hoping that like they don't draft him.
I remember that.
So
I think it's Mayu. I don't know if you pronounce the L's.
Mailloux, okay. Or Mayhew, I don't know. Probably not. Anyways, Logan is now a member of the St. Louis Blues organization. I think this is a win for Montreal. Like Bolduc had a really strong season last year, so I was kind of surprised that they traded him and that they didn't replace him with another forward. I don't know. We'll see what the big picture looks like for them. Let's see. We had Sam Lafferty going back to Chicago. 2026 sixth round pick going to Buffalo. It's very apparent. I didn't know this, but Kyle Davidson has traded for Sam Lafferty 3 different times. Apparently. So he really likes Sam Lafferty, whatever it is. And let's see, we had a goalie trade today. Another one, Alex Nedeljkovic, headed to San Jose in exchange for a 2028 third round pick. So yeah, he'll be the other goalie with Askarov. They're probably competing for the number 1 role next season. I think that's it for the goalie ones. And then the last big trade is the Keandre Miller trade. So he had been rumored to be traded for a little bit now. I was kind of hoping that, if Vegas didn't go after or weren't able to land Marner, I was hoping that Miller would be one of their targets. But he goes to Carolina in exchange for a conditional first-round pick in 2026, a 2026 second, and Scott Morrow. And it's a top 10 protected pick. So I think that's decent value for the Rangers. Oh, and it was an 8-year extension as well. So it was another sign and trade, 8 by 7.5 for him, which I think that's decent. Like I've seen a lot of really good flashes from him offensively and defensively. Like I think he's a great all-around defenseman, and he's still pretty young. So to me, it seems like a good bet for Carolina.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that.
Keeping him in the division.
Yeah.
Was that? I think that's it for the trades, right?
I think so too.
Good. And now the bulk. Well, we will definitely not go over absolutely every signing. You're more than welcome to check out the lists at your leisure, or check out your own team, what they did. Keep in touch with that, but we will do our best to go over it. I'm just looking now. I'm like, I scrolled all the way to the bottom of the list, and it's still only July 1st signings.
Yeah, it's
So,
a bit much. Jamie Benn, 1 year, 1 million.
I don't even know I don't know how far I can go on cap wages. I don't even have Jamie, because I know that one was not
June
a July
26th.
1st. Yeah. Oh man. Okay, I gotta find.
And then the
other
Trent
signings.
Frederick one is just put on here, which we talked about already. I can just rip through some of these.
Yeah, go for
John
it. Dude.
Tavares, 4 years, 4.38 per.
That's a
Three
really
signs.
good. That's a really good deal.
Toronto.
I mean,
Yeah,
like
he probably wanted to stay, and Toronto doesn't want to give him a lot of money. He's like, whatever. He's 34. That's good. He probably got more term because the AAV's lower.
yeah, I would be very happy with that as far as what value he still brings even at his age.
Yeah. And then we already mentioned the Noah Dobson, 8 years, 9.5 per. That was the sign and trade. Sam Bennett signs 8x8 to stay in Florida. I mean, he could have made more money probably on the open market. Tax-free state. He probably wants to stay. They want to keep him. He wants to win the third cup probably.
All the
All
other
makes
teams are
sense
just
to
sad.
me.
They're just like, man, I wish we even had a chance to talk to him, like have a chance to convince him to take a little bit more money to come somewhere else and bring his services. But yeah, Florida doing their best to keep the band back together.
Yep. Kevin Ball, who was RFA, re-signed with Calgary, 6 years, 5.35 million. I don't really know much about him.
I saw that and I thought that number was a little high, but I really don't know enough about him, and maybe that's something where if you're just a little more in tune with Calgary, and I think he was in the San Jose
25
organization
years
for a little
old,
bit.
6'6". He
Oh,
played
that's
with
why.
the Devils every year until this past season in
Oh,
Calgary.
Devils, okay.
Um,
We'll have to get Chandler on that one then.
yeah, he averaged 21 minutes of time on ice this past season. So I mean, he's playing a lot of minutes.
Okay. Well, then hopefully that works out well for the Flames, I suppose. They're one of my
I mean, honestly,
least
again, with the cap
hated
going up,
Pacific
having
teams.
a third pairing defenseman, like a solid guy that for 6 years, paying him maybe $5 million for a third pair is a lot.
Yeah.
Second pair,
I'm thinking I just said the Hague 4x5.5 is like not my favorite, so I don't know.
was he
about
third
him.
pair?
He was playing on the third player for a majority of this.
So maybe second pair.
Yeah, I don't know enough.
I was
about
also
their
thinking
depth.
with a lot of these defenders getting signed that like McAvoy getting the 9.5 at the time was a bit much, but I'm happy to lock him down. Like now I'm like, oh, that's a great deal.
Less than 10, we like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And we had a couple more defensemen signed recently.
Dante Fabro signs 4 years, 4.13 with Columbus. Fine.
Fine, it's fine. Yeah, like I don't have enough to say.
Ville Husso, 2 years, 2.2 per the Ducks. Couple small ones for Boston. Marat Hutsandinov,
Yeah.
2 years, 925K per. Michael Callahan, I think league min is 775, right?
Yep.
1 year, so he's getting a couple RFAs signed. Hutsandinov will probably play a couple games. Callahan, not sure. Claude Giroux, 1 year, $2 million, with $2.75 million in additional performance bonuses. He will stay in Ottawa.
Yeah, that's a great.
Owen's happy about that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Probably don't want to give him too much term as a 37-year-old. Wouldn't want to sign any 37-year-olds too long term.
No, I mean,
Hint, hint.
wouldn't want to go more than 3, 4, 5 6 years. 6 years.
We'll get to it.
For somebody.
Matthew Nyes, 6 years, 7.75 per. He's staying in Toronto. I think that's a good deal. I think Nyes, he's only 22. He's showed a lot of potential. I think that's a good signing.
He's going to
for
bloom
him.
into that contract, I'm pretty sure. Even without having Marner there now, like, you still have so many good playmakers, and I think he can, at least to somewhat of a high degree, drive on his own. Yeah, I think that's going to work out great. I've been disappointed that I haven't been too upset with a lot of the Toronto moves. I'm like, man, they're kind of doing things like they're not doing too bad. I'm kind of.
They lost Marner, so.
Yeah, that was a tough one for them. It was, so I guess that's okay. I'm all right with it.
Morgan Geekie will be a Bruin for 6 more years, $5.5 million per. I'm fine with this. Obviously, he's coming off of his best season. He played a lot with Pasta, which helps inflate his numbers.
Yeah.
So we probably won't see that every year. But again, like, I don't know what the negotiations were like, but I could have seen him trying to get more than that. But he's 26, so the term isn't terrible. But at the same time, I could see it turning into a thing where it's like he ends up falling off a little bit and that looks terrible. But at this moment, I feel okay about it.
Yeah.
We need players who can put the puck in the net on the team still, and he showed. Sure, he was shooting 500% or whatever, but he was still able to score. And like a lot of those shots, I'm like, it was just a good shot. Like it wasn't even just lucky, whatever. Like he's just in good position. Like some of them were backdoor tap-ins or whatever, which helps inflate that percentage, obviously. But like, if you keep putting him with Pasta, like he played well with Pasta, and why not?
Prove to me that I'll be okay with that contract.
Nick Hague, we already talked about, 4 years, 5.5 per.
Yep.
So after trading for him, Nashville re-signs him. The Bruins signed a couple more RFAs. Henry Jokiharju, 3 years, $3 million per.
That's too much.
That's a lot.
That's too much.
I
for
get that the cap's
Jokiharju.
going up, and yeah, he's like bottom pair, maybe 7th defender.
Like he'll get you 5 points. He'll play like 7 to 9 minutes a night. Like I don't know, $3 million seems
it does feel
too
like
much.
a lot. And Beecher, 2 years at $900K per. I'm like, sure, that's fine. Di Pietro was the other one, 2 years, 812.5K, which maybe means we don't sign Korpisalo, don't re-sign Korpisalo. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard some rumblings that he might go elsewhere, but nothing as of yet. But it's always good to lock in the third.
Gets re-signed for another year in Edmonton, $3 million per.
I like that. I think he earned that.
Sam Malinsky, similar, 1 year, 1.4 in Colorado.
I'm less familiar with him.
I just know him because I live here. Alexander Romanov, 8 years, 6.25 per on the island. I think Zane was happy with that.
Zane was very happy. He said something I won't be repeating on the podcast, but it was a happy expletive. I'll say that. And I think it's gonna work out great. He likes the playmaking ability and the aggressiveness of Romanov in that package. He was very happy when they traded for him back in the day, and I think this is a great deal. Like 6.5 locking in for a while. I think he'll do well under that contract.
Yeah. Another defender signing for 8 years, Aaron Ekblad. Florida continued with their signings, $6.1 million per. That was the one that they didn't know if Florida could get done between Bennett, Marchand, and Ekblad, but they do. Spoiler alert: they get all 3 done. But
Sorry,
I think that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, he's been his whole career there. I think he's always wanted to stick around, especially after the back-to-back cups. It makes sense for them to find a way to get him done. And yeah, I think it's not like probably a super crazy discount, but it is a decent discount, and I think he will do well to continue to be on that blue line.
Continuing on the defender trend, Evan Bouchard, 4 years, 10.5 million per. So I wonder
Big
if
raise.
this term was Bouchard's idea or the team's. I bet the team would have loved to lock him up. Bouchard probably wanted this because then he'll be 29 when this contract is expiring, so he can get like one more big payday, especially with the way the cap's moving, which I feel like we've beaten a dead horse with that. But like, he's betting on himself, and I mean, 10.5 is a good amount of money. I wonder what the AAV would be if he tried to get 8 years. But yeah, I mean, he's obviously a great player. I think it's a good enough deal for both team and player. The team is running out of cap space, but
quickly it dried up like as soon he signs that and it's like, okay, well, now we're gonna get creative because we are running out of room.
Obviously McDavid will be a free agent next season or end of this season. So
yeah, he could have signed an extension today. So that's something to keep an eye on. There's other big names.
Maybe he'll request a trade now, and then could be more to this offseason.
Like, I can already tell where you're not going to be able to afford me if you just sign Bouchard. So why don't we just get this done with now? I'll head to Vegas.
Yeah.
Another top 5 2015 first round in the first round.
And there'll only be one left.
Yeah, we'll get Dylan Strome.
There you go.
Get the Thanos gauntlet of the first 5 selections in 2015. Yeah, I think that would be tough. But we got 3. That's pretty good. Eichel, Marner. Who's the other one?
Stone?
I feel like it is. No. Nah. Was he drafted that high?
The Infinity Stone?
Yeah. that would work. That would work great. I don't know if it's true or not.
You said 2015?
Yeah. I don't think it's him because I thought he was like
Hannafin.
Oh, Hannafin. Yeah. Okay. Also recently acquired. Yep.
And then so we mentioned the Marner 8x12. We already talked about that. Brad Marchand, 6 years, $5.25 million. I wouldn't have signed him to that in Boston. He's 37 years old, like about hinting at. So he'll be 43 when his contract expires. Feels like the kind of thing you just try to bury at some point.
Yeah.
I guess unless he thinks after his 3 surgery off season last year, he's ready to go and play another 6 years. But like the AAV is not bad. He obviously. This contract went up and up after his playoff performance. So if he keeps playing at that level, it'll look great for a couple years, and then when he inevitably falls off a little bit, it won't look so great. But again, at that point, maybe he can buy it out. Who knows? It's just the money's not that big of a deal. It's just a lot of term.
Yeah, and I think like there were some complaints about like could this be potential cap circumvention if they're trying to like buy or like structure the contract in a way where they expect him to go on long-term injured reserve, like by that state, like he retires with an injury or he just retires and like I don't know, they find a way to get that salary off the cap. I'm not sure. There were some complaints about when the Leafs signed Chris Tanev, and he was like 3 years younger than Marchand, and it was like a shorter term deal. So I mean clearly the league allowed the trade or the signing to go through, but yeah, that I think it makes sense for now just to keep the band together, go for the 3-peat. That's the only way that they were going to be able to sign him for that low AAV and get the other 2 guys done, I think. So yeah, that's one of the stranger contracts we've seen today.
Yep. Ivan Provorov, 7 years, $8.5 million for Columbus. I mean, he's a good defender, lock him up. 8.5 is a little high, but it's manageable.
Yeah, I feel, especially because Gavrikov ends up signing a 7x7 with the Rangers. And it's like, man, I feel like you'd rather have Gavrikov, like if you're comparing the two contracts, you'd rather have that deal. And just,
Yeah, but sometimes if you're a really good team, or not a really good team, a more interesting market like New York versus Columbus, players want to play there, they'll take a discount as opposed to sometimes playing in Columbus, you have to pay a little extra to keep these kinds of guys.
yeah, which I think was a factor this time. It seemed like Gavrikov was going to test the market, but Columbus was pretty aggressive in trying to keep him. So they probably ultimately thought, well, there aren't a ton of great free agents on the market, and we haven't really been discussing serious trade candidates, so we'd rather just pay a little bit more than we'd like, keep the player long term, and hope that it doesn't blow up in their face. Which now we're at that stage. I hope he does well. I was glad to see him re-sign, even though I don't think the deal is super friendly for the team. But hopefully having him stick around will cause the team to just gel better next season. Like, yeah, it's good to see somebody staying long term, and now we'll get used to having him in the lineup and build on that.
Couple big signings in Vancouver. Thatcher Demko, 3 years, $8.5 million per, and Connor Garland, 6 years, $6 million per.
The Demko one surprised me. I'll say that.
A lot of money for a goalie that you're not sure what his future is.
Yeah, I just think maybe it's because we just don't know enough about the situation. Like, we're not in the organization. We don't know the ins and outs of his injury and how he's progressing. Like, if they do feel he's ready to make a full-time NHL comeback, this October, or what. 8.5, like, I think at his best he's probably worth around that, maybe a little bit less. I haven't always been the highest on him, but I do think he is a pretty solid goalie when he's healthy.
Did that one really good playoffs, like in the bubble maybe,
Yeah,
or before the pre-bubble?
I think it was the 2020 playoffs was where he played well. Ended up losing in Game 7 to Vegas, the second round.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did well there, and then it took them a while to get back into the playoffs, and then he was injured, so he hasn't played in the playoffs for a bit, and he did not play much this past season, but he did get into a few games. So yeah, we'll see. I don't love it for Vancouver, but I think Vancouver fans are just hoping that he can play, he can be healthy, and that they're not too concerned about the money. I think the Garland deal is great though. 6x6
really good
for
deal.
him.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's a smaller guy, but he just works. He does put up points. Like, he does
He had
generate.
50 points last year, and I mean the last 3 years he's been 46, 47, 50 points, so consistent, and 10%, 10%, 11% shooting. So he's not getting like these crazy shooting percentages. He's just a hard worker, like earning these points.
I'm happy. I'm happy with that. If I'm,
I think that's a good signing.
Did we mention it last week? The Kane signing to Vancouver. I can't remember if we did or not.
I think we did.
Well, I'm wearing his jersey today because I couldn't find any other players that fit for. I'm trying to find somebody that was a July 1st signing today, but I don't.
You don't have a Logan Stankoven jersey?
Not yet. Maybe
He's
now.
signed for 8 years, $6 million per. He will be in Carolina until he turns 30. I think that's a good deal too. I mean, they just traded for him this past season. I guess they liked what they saw.
Yeah, I mean, I liked what I had seen from him early on in Dallas when he was there. Like, it was just seemed like a embarrassment of riches for Dallas with all the young talent they had with Wyatt Johnston and still Jason Robertson, and Stankoven, and there were a couple other guys, Bork too. So, it made sense that he was one of the pieces that ultimately leaves for the Rantanen deal. And I think Carolina is just reaping the benefits. I think same with the K'Andre Miller deal, where they're just finding teams that need to trade out one of their really strong young roster players, and so they're acquiring those. I think that could be a great recipe for them, and I think $6 million isn't gonna look too bad with the trajectory that he's currently on as far as scoring. So yeah, I'd be pretty happy with that if I was a Canes fan for sure.
Mm-hmm. The Devils signed Jake Allen to 5 years, $1.8 million per. It's not a lot of money, but he'll be 39 when that contract ends.
I think you're fine with that. I think it's nice to be able to have all of that extra money, like each year, paying less than $2 million for him. Yeah,
under $2 million is fine.
They paid a bit for Markstrom, so I think it works. Like, I think that's a decent tandem. He's not going to be great, but you really don't need him to be. You're probably going to have him play 30 games or so a season. I think that is a good move overall.
Yep. Christian Dvorak, 1 year, $5.4 million for the Flyers. Not a big signing or anything, but high-ish dollar value, so I figured I'd just mention it real quick.
How much was it again?
5.4.
5.4 for Dvorak, yeah. Must have just been a bidding war there, I think. Like, there's just not a ton of offensive upside there, but it's 1 year, whatever. Yeah. Just see if he gels with the team. They're definitely trying to build for a potential playoff push this year. I think it's pretty clear that they want to get back in, so yeah, you put a couple eggs in the basket this season, see if someone, if you have a fun year, maybe are able to sneak into a playoff spot, and then some guys want to stick. So yeah, it's not
He's
bad.
basically making as much as William Eklund, who the Sharks signed for 3 more years at $5.6 million per. He's only 22 and has a much higher offensive upside.
I
so
like
that.
that.
A lot better.
I like that one much better. It probably also buys them another RFA year where he'll be an RFA at the end of the contract. I don't know for sure. But given his age, that feels like the type of deal where they'd at least get, one more crack to have arbitration rights and be able to extend a qualifying offer and all that. So that seems to be a smart bit of work for both team and player, because I think Eklund will outperform that, and then he'll get a big pay raise after it when San Jose is a little bit more competitive.
After all the talk, Brock Besser will remain a Canuck for 7 more years, making $7.25 million each year.
This one surprised me because I was like, for sure, he's got the opportunity to leave the shit show that is Vancouver right now, and there's other teams that were linked. I thought, he would be heading to the Wild. It just seemed like that was a rumor.
How much he tested the open market, or if he didn't want to risk certain things, I don't know, but normally where there's smoke there's fire, and there were a lot of talks about him being unhappy there and wanting to leave and all this, and the team not being happy with him or whatever. So kind of surprising, like you said.
I think it's good for Vancouver and their fans. Like, finally somebody says, yes, I will stick around. Like Horvat, got traded, and Miller gets traded, and there were so many talks about Pettersson. He's not going anywhere at this stage, but it's just nice from a fan perspective to not lose him. And I don't think it's a bad deal either.
Contract up. 26-27. When he goes to play with his 2 brothers.
Yeah, that would be really fun. I would like that.
Not for the Canucks fans.
No, they would be very, very sad. Like, please, he's like the best defenseman we've ever had, arguably. Like, please don't trade him away.
Yeah.
Or lose him for nothing. Could be even worse.
The Kings signed Corey Perry, 1 year, $2 million. So congratulations to the
bonuses
Kings
there.
for making the Stanley Cup Finals next year and losing.
You put up a good run. Ultimately, you lost to
You
insert
finally
Eastern
beat
Conference
Edmonton in
team
the
here.
first round.
Yeah. That's all they needed to get so close, but ultimately they couldn't get it done. Hey,
Yeah. I mean, I don't have much to say on that. It's whatever.
back with Ken Holland. He's
Mhm.
I think he signed a bunch of players that he's had in Edmonton or in Detroit before, which makes some sense. First year at the helm in LA. It's like, yeah, well, Edmonton doesn't have the money anymore to re-sign Perry. They probably would have liked to, but they just weren't able to keep him. So Perry's like, all right, well, I guess I'll just go a little bit further south.
Yep. How do you feel about Dan Vladar getting signed for 2 years in Philly for 3.35 million? Because that's more than Jake Allen money.
It is more than Jake Allen money. He's like not that much younger than Jake Allen, but I think
Only 27.
he like proved himself in Calgary. I think to be serviceable. Played a decent role behind just Dustin Wolf this year.
I'd say 7 years younger is a good amount.
Yeah. Okay. 7. Yeah, I'd say that's decent. Yeah, I think that's a good deal for them, especially because they just needed a change at goaltender this upcoming season. Like, it wasn't working with the current tandem, obviously. So good that they addressed that need, which not every team has done. I don't think Edmonton signed a goalie today, but again, they had no money.
Yeah. The Caps signed Martin Ferravari, 7 years, 6 million per. I feel like a lot of these signings are just kind of like in the 6 to 7 million range. It's like the new middle range.
Yeah,
of
I think
the
it is.
market. Like just a serviceable player. That's what you're getting, 6 or 7 million, and with term.
Yeah, I'm surprised I didn't hear anything from Sam about how he felt on that deal. Because I honestly don't know a ton about Faravari. I didn't know how young he was.
I don't know a ton either, but I guess I've heard his name enough to know a good enough player to like. I mean, he played 81 games. It's not like he's in and out.
Yeah,
Like
that's true.
between the AHL, NHL, 25 points plus 18.
He's a defender, right?
19 minutes a night.
Yeah. Okay.
Vladislav Gavrikov, the Rangers signed him 7 years, 7 million per. So again, all kind of just in that range.
He was like the big fish as far as defensemen, I think, for UFAs. So makes sense that the Rangers are able to grab him. Obviously, they just lost Miller, so got to fill that void somehow.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
I'll mention this one because the Bruins signing Tanner Jeannot, 5 years, 3.4 million per. I was texting Zach and I was like, I don't really know how to feel about this one, but Zach was like, I like it. I'm like, okay.
Really?
Yeah, I was a little surprised, but like, again, like tougher guy, definitely like a Bruins type player. I'm sure I'll get to like him. And again, like I mentioned earlier, we just need bodies to like line an NHL team. So
He
do we
is
need
a
to give
body.
him 5 years? I don't know, but he's only 28, so
He's bounced around a lot lately, though.
yeah.
I mean, he was in Nashville, he was in Seattle, Tampa Bay, then he gets traded to LA, and that didn't really work out either. And so, I don't know. Apparently, everybody wants him, so he's got to be doing something right.
I guess.
I don't think I would have signed that deal, though, personally.
Seattle, Ryan Lindgren, 4 years, 4.5 million per.
Everybody was like clowning on Seattle for this one. I don't know if it's that bad. Like he doesn't.
I don't think it's that bad.
He's defensively still strong enough. I think. I don't know. Maybe Rangers and Avs fans have soured on him. I'm not sure. Have you heard anything from like Avs fans as far as like letting him go and if they're okay with not signing him to that deal?
I actually haven't.
I guess
So-
you're not an Avs fan, so you're not in like the circle. You
no, but
it just happened
normally I
today.
do. Normally I do hear these types of things, but I'll have to do some more scouting, I guess.
All right, we'll check back in with you guys.
Yeah. Let's see what else. Brandon Tanev, 3 years, 2.5 for Utah. Sure.
Yeah, that's I like that. That's good.
Let's see. A lot of these I'm skipping over.
Yeah.
Nate Schmidt, also Utah, 3 years, 3.5 per.
Yeah, he gets the little cup bump. He played a decent role in that cup run for them. So, there's not a ton there, but he did kind of spark his offensive game a little bit at the tail end of the season with Florida. So, and then in the playoffs, he had like multiple goals, which I would not expect a ton of goals from him. So, hopefully he can continue that on for next couple of years for Utah. He's definitely getting older though. So that one might be a potential buyout candidate in the future if it doesn't really pan out. Something to keep an eye on.
Cody Ceci, 4 years, 4.5 million for the Kings. Does seem to be a pattern where it's like the term is also your cap hit for a lot of these. They're like, 4 years, we'll do the 4 million range. 7 years, 7 million range.
Yeah. And that's another former Edmonton Oiler now rejoining Ken Holland. Long time
Yep.
there, and then in Dallas too. Yeah.
Jonathan Drouin,
all
2
right.
years, 4 million per on the island.
I like that.
I think Zane liked that too.
I think he was happy with that. Good veteran players. Not a ton of offensive upside at this stage. Didn't really end up working out in Colorado, clearly. But it's short enough term where you're fine swallowing it if it doesn't pan out.
Oh, I didn't know the Florida signed Brandon Bussey.
Yeah, I did see that. Yep, they
1
they
year,
had a couple goalie moves.
$775K.
They also signed Daniil Tarasov to a 1-year extension, 1.05 per. So they're messing around with their goalie tandem a bit. Oh, they also signed Jack Studnicka today too, another former
I did
Boston
see that.
Bruin.
Yeah.
So yeah, they moved their goalies around, and then Vanacek ended up signing with Utah, I believe. So yeah, just the goalie carousel. Forsberg signing with the Kings. Like, yeah, there's a whole bunch of backup goaltenders that get shuffled around every off season. Riddick also signed with the Islanders, 1 year, $1 million per. Zane was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
It's like Varlamov is probably like getting close to done. He's been outperforming his age, I think, for a while now. So yeah, I think it's good to get some reassurance there.
Yeah. Not a goalie, but Nico Sturm signs 2 years in Minnesota, 2 million per.
It's a nice little chunk of change there.
Probably top 1% of Clarkson grads to be millionaires by the age 30.
Yeah, probably.
Probably not too many of those.
Well, we got the business school. I mean, you could get some young entrepreneurs that explode at their before they're 30. But
that's true.
yeah, good for him. Obviously, he was in Minnesota before. That was his first NHL team as a rookie. So I'm excited to see him rejoin the team.
And his contract was before this was a 3x2. So he just continues the same cap hit going forward.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, by the end of this, he'll have $10 million in his pocket, plus his, couple years making under $1 million. Not too shabby.
Oh, not too. And
his career earnings so far, $7.75 million.
Wow. Yeah, that's great.
Not bad for being undrafted.
Yeah. Free agent signing by Minnesota. They take advantage, and then he gets opportunities in Colorado, gets opportunity in San Jose, then gets traded to Florida.
He was originally in Minnesota, right?
I believe so.
But he never played for Minnesota.
No, he did.
Maybe this is. I'm looking at career stats. The first I see is 21, 22, but maybe this just doesn't go back far enough.
I'm pretty sure he played.
Let me
A
check
couple
hockey
seasons with him.
DB. I think you're right.
I'm like, oh,
Maybe this only goes back. Yeah, you're right. He did.
I was gonna say,
109 games, in fact.
Pretty
Oh
sure.
wait, no, 111 games.
1-1-1. I wonder
Yep.
what if he's gonna go back to 7. I think was his jersey number in Minnesota. I don't even know if that's available now.
I guess we shall see.
Boy, he's had a lot of different numbers. Let's see. I'm just scrolling through. Brian
John
Dumoulin
Klingberg, 1 year, $4 million for the Sharks.
for the Sharks. Okay, yes. Sure. Just
Mikhail Granlund,
depth.
3 years, $7 million per for the Ducks.
Yeah, that was like their one big fish, I guess, at the end of the day today. They're like, all right, I guess we'll start doing something now.
Yeah, I was like, this one's a major signing on TSN. I'm like, I don't know, major that one, but okay.
I mean, there was no way he was going to be able to stick around in Dallas. Like, both sides wanted something to get done, but they have absolutely no money. Like, it just wasn't going to happen. So, I'm not surprised he left, and he probably just took the highest bid in Anaheim and left.
The Sabres keep some talent with Ryan McLeod locked up for 4 years, $5 million AAV.
Yeah, I think he could be okay. They did just recently trade for him, so good to see that he's willing to stick around, because we've heard a lot of chatter about Bowen Barroom, who they just recently traded for. And I think he was one of the few success stories from the Sabres this season. So, yeah, we like to see a player that's excited to stick around semi long term in Buffalo. I'll say that.
Yeah.
Just good to have players coming back that aren't just bottom feeders in the league. Oh, they also signed Alex Lyon, another goalie, 2 by 1.5. They did extend a qualifying offer, Devin Levi as well. So we'll see if he competes for the backup role again this season, or if he spends another year in Rochester.
I didn't realize the Penguins signed Justin Brazeau.
Yep.
Kind of funny because he was a Toronto prospect, and now Kyle Dubas is like, oh, maybe this guy actually is decent. I'll give him a try. 2 years, 1.5 per.
I remember, I think Steve Dangle was quoting somebody in the Leafs organization when they said if Brazeau doesn't play a game for the Leafs, like, it'll be a failure. And then, so Dubas was definitely there. And he's like, okay, well, he's available. And we don't have, like, we're not really buyers this year, so we'll buy low on Brazeau. And, yeah, you never know. I don't think he'll explode at this stage in his career.
No.
But it is fun to track, former Boston and Vegas players.
Even when we traded for him, Minnesota like barely played him.
Yeah. Yep. Was that the same deal that you got Husnudinov in, or was that a different deal?
Same deal, I believe.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last trade or last signing I really care about is the Sean Corrali back in Boston.
Oh, yeah.
2 years, 1.85 per. I loved the whack line, the Wagner Achari Corrali line. And Corrali had some big time goals. So he was I liked him. He was a fun player. I'm happy to have him back.
Me too. He was a fan favorite. I liked him in Columbus. I think Columbus fans really enjoyed him. Yeah, he spent like 4 years there or something like that. So good to see him back in the Boston organization for sure. Even though, he's not like a super high-end scorer, but you don't really need that from him. They also signed Alex Steves today, too. I don't know if you saw that.
Five seasons, but the first season he only played 8 games, so I don't blame you for not.
I pretty much nailed it then. That's what I'm going to say.
He had 23 points in 69 games, 21 points in 71. So, yeah, his years in Boston, 0 goals, 6 goals, 8 goals, 6 goals, 4 goals, but they were big goals.
That's what you remember.
But then in the playoffs, 2 goals, 2 goals, 4 goals, 1 goal, 0 goals.
Well, yeah,
Some of those years were good.
some of them were good. We'll see what's next for him.
Yeah.
There were because there were a couple minor Vegas signings. They do bring back Dylan Coughlin, 1 by $775K, so minimum league deal there. For him to come back to Vegas, he was infamously traded along with Pacioretty for nothing. So glad to get him back for nothing. Basically, we signed Jacob Megna, recent Stanley Cup champion. He was the player that we couldn't identify during the Cup pass-off. So he's with Vegas now on a 2-year deal, $800,000 per. And we also signed Cole Reinhardt. I don't know who he is.
No
really.
relation.
I don't know, actually. I feel like probably not. I believe it's spelled the same way. I just saw him on here, and now I can't find him. Oh, here we go. Yeah. Spelled the same way. 25 years of age. 2 years, $775 per. He's a left winger. I really don't know anything about him, though. 6th round pick by Ottawa in 2020. So, I don't know. Something maybe the scouts saw in him, or, he was part of Brandon Wheat Kings. I think these guys do like the draft former Brandon players, so that's a part of it too. Definitely see general managers gravitate towards organizations that they've been a part of before, or like a local area. I think we'll probably wrap it up there as far as the UFA, the signings, because there's so many other ones like Colin Blackwell, Colin White, all these different ones. It's like
I skipped over a good
the
amount.
Donov.
Like if you're getting a year or two at one, we don't need to cover them all.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. So yeah,
We're
there
already
you
at
go.
2 hours,
I figured we were getting up there.
and we
Yeah.
still have the CBA to cover.
Oh my goodness.
I don't have a. I mean, we can go through this probably quick. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe we should just save it for next time. I feel like
Okay.
because it hasn't been ratified yet, so maybe by the time next week it does get ratified, and we'll have concrete stuff about these. I definitely want to talk about it, but I think we should dedicate more time, and I don't want to be here for another hour.
Sounds good.
Maybe not an hour, but it would take a little bit. I will quickly mention, because we talked about it last week, that the Stars were down to 2 potential candidates for their head coaching job, and they do hire Glen Gulutzan as the next head coach. Oilers assistant coach since 2018, so obviously some familiarity there with those 2 organizations and the playoffs and all that. That's all I really know about him, but he seemed to be one of the front runners. Yeah. So, okay. Like, again, it's one of those things where if you're not really familiar with them, or they've never been an NHL head coach, we're just kind of in the let's see what happens phase. And, I'm not a Stars fan, so I haven't been digging into it. But that's it for the head coaching vacancies as of right now. Probably nobody's going to get fired, but we've seen that before. Mike Babcock.
Yeah, it's rare.
Yeah, it is rare.
Well, I guess we can wrap up then with Dean's Den. We had a 3-1 win, which moves us up to 4th. So we got
Nice.
2 games remaining, and I had 2 goals,
Ooh.
2 of the 3, and that's 2 weeks in a row with the game-winning goal. We're ramping up for playoffs. We're getting ready.
Wow.
And Shane was not playing, so that gave me a chance to catch up.
They gave you a
Or
bump.
try to catch up. So I've played 7 games. He's only played 6. He has 7 goals. I have 5. Puts me second on the team in the goals department, and also second in points.
Excellent.
And yeah, I feel like the puck was just kind of finding me all night.
One of those nights.
So one of those nights. So this was my first goal. There's some good tape to tape passing. My first pass was okay, not quite tape to tape, but then we got right on the tape, give and go, and I'm just kind of floating in the back here, and then the best pass of them all from the other team.
Swept away terribly and right to you. You're just kind of
Yeah, and
lurking
I feel like a
there.
lot of times, like if I'm back here, two guys are up, I'm like, I'll like try to kind of crash in there, whatever. I'm like, let me just kind of like float, find the open space, and I was just like, again, I was like, I'm just gonna hang out right in this area. I feel like a good spot to be, and it was the perfect spot to be. Just tape to tape, off from the clear.
Love it.
Um, and if you thought that goal was lucky, this one was even luckier.
Let's see. Oh.
You shoot it off the defender and in.
No.
I was shooting like to the left. Like I was aiming probably like this side of the net, and it goes off his shoot and ends up kind of just like bouncing over to the right.
Man, that's a tough one.
Terry got an assist, and even the assist was lucky. Like, so
Yeah,
he's
just
right here.
deflects off his foot. Or,
It just kind of like goes through his legs.
Like, shoot, okay. Easiest apple of his life.
Yeah. So yeah, we got 2 games left. Like I said, we are playing. Next week we play the last place team, who is 0-8.
Okay.
And then we play the second place team, who is 5-3. And again, we're 4-3-1. They should be beatable.
Yeah, we should be right around them if you
Hopefully, can
take care of business.
Yeah. So we're the 2 teams ahead of us are both 5-3. So, assuming we both win next week, then maybe that'll be a deciding matchup for moving up even further. But like I said, I expect us to be 4th. Right now we're in 4th. We'll see what happens.
Nice. That's good to hear. We're always hoping for some fun highlights and not sad ones that it was like, oh, that was a funny moment, but unfortunately it went against us this
But
time
the bloopers.
around. Yeah.
But
The
yeah,
bloopers are fun.
no Dean's Den next week. 4th of July weekend we have
Yeah.
off. So we'll be back the week after to hopefully have a big blowout win against the last place team, whose goal differential keeps declining. They're at -46.
How they played what, like 7 games? 6 games?
8 games.
Oh, 8, you said, yes.
Yeah. 16 goals, 62 goals against.
That's tough.
And we still are the most penalized team with 36 penalty minutes.
Oh.
Also, I forgot to mention, I didn't record this part. I almost got a hat trick. The goalie went to like cover it and just squeaked out, like it was just sitting in the crease next to him, but the ref was on this side and couldn't see the puck, so he blew the whistle, and it was just like a poke in. It's like I just poked into the net, and like, yeah, my bad, I lost sight of it. Like, it's all, like, whatever, it's fine.
My hattie.
My hat trick.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that's the way it goes. It's
I would
tough.
have
It
been more
happens all
upset
the
if it
time.
was like, if it could have been my first hat trick, but I have gotten at least one before, so it takes a little bit of the sting out of it.
You're just gonna have to get one the next go around against the 0-8 team. That's all. That's all you can do. That's fun. I think.
Yeah, we'll save the CBA for next week.
Yeah, I think we'll save that one. I think we'll also talk about this next week, but I did watch also the first 5 episodes of A Clean Sheet.
The 6th one did come out, so I was gonna try to watch that this weekend,
Okay.
maybe.
I didn't watch it only because you hadn't yet, and I was like, all right, well, I'll wait.
I didn't realize it'd come out until like a couple days ago, so I will watch that.
I've been enjoying it quite a bit, but I think we'll wait until we both watch the whole thing, and I mean, we already pretty much know because it's the part where he's joining the Colorado Eagles for the conditioning stint and beyond. So, you know, that's when the public really started like getting back in tune with what was going on
Maybe I'll
there.
be in the episode when I was at the game and he scored.
That would be really cool, actually. Like, wait a minute. Right, stop right there. Freeze frame it.
Yeah, there I am.
Look, Gary, there.
No, probably not because they scored on the other side of the ice.
Yeah. Yeah, they probably wouldn't have any shots from not near where the goal happened.
Well, maybe it's behind the glass and you can see all the way across the rink to where I am.
If you really squint, you might be able to catch a bit of Dean.
Or maybe we can save that. I mean, I know normally during the offseason, team breakdowns for next year, so we can also do an Avalanche one. But
That's
or we
true.
can do it. Well, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We will get there when we get there.
You listeners don't need to be here for this part.
No. We're brainstorming.
Yeah.
I think that's what we got for this week. Again, we dropped a lot of info on you today, so appreciate you sticking around. We're gonna have a lot of fun this season. We're hoping to meet new milestones, get some new first time guests, have some more crazy moments and all that. We hope that you guys are here with us. So make sure to subscribe, like, comment, share with your friends and family. We're the Bread
Email,
Bro Saki
call.
Podcast. Yep, yeah, that would be great. We would love to get one. We haven't gotten voicemail in a long time.
Or an email.
The email, it's been a little bit. I think Owen's grandmother was the last one to hit us up. So we appreciate you, and hopefully we hear from you soon.
Yep. And come to Dean's Den hockey games.
Okay, sure. Yeah, why not? Why not plug it?
Yep. See y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Ashley's favorite player traded.
Oh no, really?
Miles Wood.
Dang. Well, they've got a couple other woods there she can like.